Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the news itself. We're going to decode the secret language of newspapers and figure out how the exact same event can be presented in two wildly different ways. Have you ever been scrolling through the news and seen something like this? Two headlines, same event, but they feel like they're from different planets. One sounds serious and official, the other is pure emotion, a real gut punch. So how does that happen? Well, it's definitely not a mistake. It's totally by design. It all comes down to a deep divide in how news is packaged and, well, sold to different groups of people. To really get it, we need to look at the philosophies behind the papers themselves. Okay, let's dive in. So the first big clue in solving this mystery is in the British press, where for, over a century, there's been this really clear split between two kinds of newspapers. On one side, you've got what are called the quality papers, papers like The Times or The Guardian. Historically, they were these huge broadsheet pages, that's where the name comes from, and they were aimed at people who wanted super detailed, in-depth reporting and some serious analysis. And then on the other side, you have the popular papers, but let's be real, everyone just calls them the tabloids. These are built for a mass market. The focus is on stories with a huge impact, sensationalism, celebrities. The goal isn't deep thought. It's about giving you something quick, shocking, and easy to digest on your way to work. And what's so fascinating here is just how different these two worlds are. I mean, it's not just the size of the paper. It's the entire philosophy. Quality papers want to inform you, and they use complex, formal language to do it. Popular papers, they want to entertain and shock you, using way simpler words. And you should not underestimate the power of this divided press. Even with all these differences, get this, more than 2/3 of Brits over the age of 15 still read a national daily paper. So yeah, the influence here is absolutely massive. Okay, so let's hop across the pond to the US and see how this plays out, because while some of the ideas are the same, the situation there is actually quite a bit different. Right, so in the American press, that really sharp, clear line between the quality paper and the popular tabloid, it gets way, way blurrier. The categories just aren't as strict. Of course, America has its heavy hitters, its world-famous quality papers. But here's a key difference. A lot of US dailies have traditionally focused more on local and regional news, whereas their British counterparts are usually more national from the get-go. And this is where things get really interesting, and that blurriness comes into play. American tabloids, like the New York Daily News, they're not always just about scandals and aliens. They often give a lot of space to serious news. They just write about it in a much more casual, free-flowing style that's easier for everyone to get into. So here's the bottom line. It doesn't matter what country you're in or what kind of paper it is. Journalists have this special toolkit of language they use to grab your attention. This is especially true with headlines, and learning to read the code is the key to becoming a much smarter newsreader. We can actually break down this code, this special language I like to call headlinese. There are 4 simple rules, and trust me, once you see them, you are going to see them everywhere. First up, headline writers are all about saving space. They pick short, punchy words that not only fit perfectly, but also sound way more dramatic than the normal words we use every day. This is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. Why would you write promise when you can just write vow? Why use attempt when bid is shorter and sounds way more active? It's all about getting the biggest possible impact with the fewest letters. Okay, next, they simplify the grammar. They basically trim all the fat. Any word that isn't absolutely essential to getting the main point across, it gets the chop. Just look at this. The full sentence is totally normal, right? But the headline just rips out the words an, and has. What you're left with is a message that's faster, more direct, and just hits you harder. Rule number 3 is a really clever trick that messes with time. Headlines manipulate verb tenses to make you, the reader, feel a certain way. Usually it's a sense of urgency, like this is happening right now. So by using this simple present tense, like resigns, something that already happened suddenly feels like it's unfolding in real time. And when they want to talk about the future, they often use the to form of the verb, like move to create more jobs, which signals that these are just plans. And finally, my personal favorite tool in the headline writer's box, wordplay. This is where journalists really get to have some fun, using puns and double meanings to write a headline that's witty, memorable, and pretty much impossible for you to ignore. Check this one out. It's a classic. Wait for it. The story was about a guy who had to wait to get his prize money from a bet he'd won about his own weight. Wait for it is a perfect pun on the phrase wait for it. It's clever, you remember it, and it tells you something about the story. It's brilliant.
Okay, so we've cracked the code of headlineese. We've seen the big divide in the press. But what does all this really mean? Why should you care?
Because once you get these techniques, you're not just passively reading the news anymore. You can actually see how a story is being packaged for you. Are they trying to inform you with neutral language? Or are they trying to make you feel angry or excited or maybe even scared? Knowing the code lets you separate the actual facts from the emotional spin. Honestly, this knowledge changes everything about how you see the news. It gives you the power. So the next time you glance at a newsstand or scroll through your phone, you're not just going to see headlines. You're going to see the code, and you'll be the one who decides what it all really means.